Hello friends, today we are going to see our first unit, that is Introduction to Python. What we can see inside that unit, the first point, that is features or characteristics of the Python. Within that point we have to see what are the different features that are included in a Python language. Another is that installation and working with Python. For doing a programming in a Python, we have to install a Python software. Then we have to see how to install that and how it will work, how to design a program, how to edit that, how to find the error, compilation, interpretation or execution of a Python program. That we have see under the installation and working with a Python. The next point, that is the structure of a Python program. Already we have seen the different languages like C, C++, Java, where the program structure will be something different from each other languages. Similar to that, Python have a structure of a program that we have to see how to design a Python program. Then we have to write the first simple Python program, that is the addition of two numbers. Then how it will be compiled, interpreted and executed by using our Python compiler interpreter or Python virtual machine. Then there are a different way of executing a Python program, either by using command line window and ideal graphics window. So by using that command line window and ideal graphics window, or another that from system prompt also there will be the three ways of executing a Python program that we have see inside that point. The next is that Python virtual machine. So Python virtual machine is what? The Python virtual machine, that is a tool or the software that has been installed along with a Python software. When you install a Python virtual machine will automatically installed on your machine. So what is the work of that Python virtual machine? This is the main tool that will be used for interpretation of your Python program. So Python virtual machine is a virtual machine that contains an interpreter that will be used for execution of your Python programs. Then we have to see the identifiers and keywords. So identifiers and keywords, these are the naming conventions and some reserved words that are used for designing of a Python language, or for writing a Python programs we may use that different keywords. And the last point, that is operators, that has been used for various calculations or operation. So within that we can see the arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical or boolean operators, assignment operators, bitwise operators, some membership operators are there, identity operators. These are the number of types of operators, and we may have to see the operator precedence and associativity. Also within a data structure we have also seen that according to the operator precedence, the any expression is evaluated, any arithmetic expression will be evaluated. So within a Python there are also some operators, and how that operator precedence will be considered during the execution of any statement or the uh, mathematical or arithmetic operation, and its associative will be there. So let's come to the first point, that is what is a Python. So what actually the Python is there? So Python is a elegant and robust programming language. So it is an elegant and robust programming language that delivers both the power and general applicability of the traditional compiled languages. So there will be the traditional compiled languages like C, C++, Java will be there. So that also make the power and general applicability of the traditional compiled languages. So with the use of simple scripting and interpreted languages. So most of the languages are either scripting languages, some languages are compiled languages, some are interpreted languages, or some languages like Java we have seen there, that is either compiled or interpreted. So you will be amazed at how quickly you will pick up the languages, as well as what kind of things you can do with the Python. So by using a Python we can do the number of things. So what we can do by using a Python? So if you have familiar with a C, C++ and Java. So it will be easy for you to migrate from that languages to a Python language. So already we have seen within first year or second year there will be C++, C, C++ and Java. So same concept that has been implemented within a Python language. And what are the different kind of things you can also do with the Python that we have to see inside that Python. Your imagination will be the only limit. What you think there or what you imagine within there, you can show that by using a Python language. So this is the Python language. Now the next point is there, introduction to Python programming language. Who has developed a Python? Python is developed by Guido van Rossum. So this is the developer of Python. So Guido van Rossum started implementing Python in 1989. So within 1989, Guido van Rossum has started the implementation of the Python in actual programming. So work on the Python began in late in 1989 by Guido van Rossum, then at CWI Centrum Ur Visconde in Informatica. This is the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. So within that organization or the research center where the Python has begun the development in late 1989 by under the observation or under the team leader of Guido van Rossum. So it was eventually released for public distribution in early 1991. So within a past of the 30 years, it is come within a market, but there was no any scope for that, or it will not be developed with the full features of the language. So Python 2 will be released there. Python 2 will be released and now we are using a Python 3. So most of the organizations are within a world that are using a Python 3 that contains some advanced features. So how did it will begin? There will be most of the traditional languages like C, C++, Lisp, Java and Perl. Python came from the research background where the programmer was having a hard time getting the job done with the existing tools at hand and developed a better way. So if you used a C language, C++ language or Java, we have also seen there. But what happened there, we have need to write a more code and some complex code will be there. So if you want to write a simple thing for the addition of two numbers within C language, we have to include a header files there, then write the main function, that is void main will be there, then opening curly brace will be there, then declaration of the variable will be there. So all that things we have need to there, but Python has been released all that concepts and you have to write only the scripting statements will be there. The code saving or the code complex has been removed and you have to write the simple statement as written within English statements. So Python is a very simple language. So Python is a very simple programming language. So even if you are new to programming, you have no knowledge about the any language, you can easily learn a Python without facing any problem. So this is about the introduction about the programming, that is Python programming language. Now we have to see the features or characteristics of a Python. So what is a Python language, how it will be developed, what is the purpose behind the development of this, and after the development of the Python programming language, what are the features that are included within that language. That language compatibility or the scope of that language will be dependent upon the features or the characteristics of that language. Now we have to see the first feature, that is Python is a simple language. So Python is a simple programming language. So how it will be simple? When we read a Python program, we feel like reading English sentences. It means more clarity and less stress on understanding the syntax of the language. So hence developing and understanding programs will become easy. So Python is a simple language. It means that Python is a very simple programming language. So why it is simple? Because when we read a Python program, if you write a Python program and when you read it, you feel like just reading English sentences. It means we have no need to give the more stress or more clarity on the understanding of the syntax of the programming language. So we have seen the previous languages C, C++ or Java. There will be not a more clarity on the syntaxes of the language. Suppose for example, if you miss a curly brace, missing a semicolon, Such all that things are removed inside a Python. Python contains a simple English sentence. Now the next feature, that is easy to learn. So Python uses very few keywords. As like other languages, there are some reserved words we have seen C, C++ or Python, where the keywords are there, and that keywords are used for writing a Python, writing the language programs. So similarly within a Python, there will be a very few keywords. Now there will be only 38 keywords are there. We have to see in our points identifiers and keyword there. So there will be a very few keywords, and its a program uses very simple structures. So developing Python programs, that will becomes an easy. So also Python program resembles C language. How it will resemble? So most of the language constructs in C are also available in a Python. Most of the language constructs, declaration of the variables are there, writing a for loop, while loop, these statements are there. So all that concepts are also included in a Python. So it will becomes an easy. So hence migrating from C language, if you know are familiar with a C language, so migrating from C to Python, migrating from C to Python is very easy for each programmer. So this is our second point, that is second feature, easy to learn. Then we have to see Python is an open source language. So what is meant by open source? We are hearing open source, the languages or the softwares that are considered as open source softwares, and some are not open source software. So we have seen the so for example, we are taking the example of Microsoft Windows, or there will be a number of Windows versions, Windows 8, Windows 9, Windows 10, or also we are using a Microsoft Office. So these softwares are not open source. Means what? We have need to purchase that software from a Microsoft organizations. For that we have need to pay some money, and then we can use the license copy of that software. We are also purchasing the antivirus softwares. This is not open source. We have need to pay some money. You can purchase that and you can use the license copy of that softwares. But Python is open source. Open source means what? It will be freely available. We have no need to pay for a Python software. So there is no need to pay for a Python software. So Python can be freely downloaded from www.python.org website. So its source code can be read, modified, and can be used in programs as desired by the programmer. But that contains some already built-in modules are there. Some previous codes are there that we can also use in our programs. So such type of languages or the softwares that are considered as open source. So Python is an open source software. You can easily download it from www.python.org website. Another feature, that is a Python is a high level language. So what is meant by high level languages? So most of the languages are of two types. So programming languages are of two types, either low level languages or high level language. What is meant by low level language? A low level language uses machine code instructions to develop programs. Low level language uses machine code instructions to develop programs. So we have seen that within a first year, what is a low level language, high level language, middle level languages, that we have seen there. So languages, these are of two types, either a low level or high level language. So high level language uses the English words. So high level language uses the English word to develop programs. So we have seen the Java, Python, Java, C, C++, that we have seen there, where we are using the English words for developing the program. So most of the high level languages or all high level languages uses English words for writing programs. So for example, COBOL will be there, PHP or Java. So Python is also there, that we uses the English words in its programs, and hence it is called as a high level language. So Python is high level language because it uses the English words. So this is our fourth feature, high level language. Next is there dynamically typed. So what is meant by dynamically typed? In a Python we need to declare anything. So everything should be declared before using it. Here an assignment statement binds a name to an object. So object will be there. You have to create a class object will be there. You have to create an object will be considered as a variable here. variable is considered as object here. So assignment statement of the object will consider that it is a dynamically typed. Suppose for example in a C language, what assignment statements you have written? Int a equal to 10. For example, int a equal to 10. Here int is a data type, a is a variable, equal to is an assignment operator, and equal to 10, that is a value will be assigned for a variable a. But here in a Python we have no need to declare a object with its type. So by considering the assignment value for that variable or object, the type of that will be considered. Means in a Python we have no need to declare int a equal to 10. Within actual program we have to see there. So Python is a dynamically typed. It means what? It will automatically consider the type of value assigned for that object. Means a equal to 10. Means what? In a object a or variable a, we have assigned a value 10 there. So what is the type of 10 there? The 10 is of integer type. So a will automatically becomes an integer. So this is called as a dynamically typed. Means a equal to 10, 10 is the integer, a becomes an integer. We have no need to write there int a equal to 10. Just we can write a equal to 10 in a Python. So this is the dynamically typed. Next feature is that platform independent. So that is the most important feature for any language. So we have seen that Java is there. We have seen already that feature within a Java is a platform independent language. So what is meant by platform independent? Same feature will be acquired by a Python. Python is a platform independent language. So when a Python program is compiled using a Python compiler, what happens? It generates a bytecode. So Python's bytecode represents a fixed set of instructions that run on all operating systems and hardware. That instructions that are generated by a Python compiler that can be executed on any operating system. Where if there will be some hardware changes are also there, it will also considered as a platform independent. So using a Python virtual machine, anybody can run these bytecode instructions on your computer system. Hence Python programs are not dependent on a specific operating system or hardware. So we can use a Python almost on all operating systems. So which are the operating systems where Python can be used? Unix is there. There may be a Linux, Windows are there, Macintosh, Sun Solaris are there. So any operating system that are within a market where the Python programs can be developed, compiled and executed. So Python programs or Python is a platform independent language. You can write once, run anywhere. Write once, run anywhere. That concept will be achieved within a Python, that is a platform independent. Means we can develop your Python program on one operating system, and if you want to execute it on another operating system, it will be executed. Or you have developed your Python program on one operating system like Windows, for example. You have compiled that, and that compiled code you want to execute on a Linux or Mac operating system, it will be executed. There will be no limitations on the platform. So next feature is there, Python is a portable language. Portable means what? It can be carried from one place to another. Port means carry. We are using the different ports are there. USB port is there. We are considered as a port. What is the use of that port? To carry something or to port something. That is considered as a portable. So portability, that is the feature that will be included in a Python language. So portability means what? You can port your program from one place, that is one computer system, to another computer system. There will be also platform independency from one operating system to another operating system. So portability feature that will be also applicable within your Python language. So Python is a portable language. Next feature that is also included in a Python, procedure and object oriented. So Python is a procedure oriented as well as an object oriented programming language. Python is a procedure oriented and object oriented programming language. So first we have to see what is a procedure oriented and what is object oriented. So we have seen the languages like C language. What is that? This is a procedure oriented language. We cannot implement the features of object oriented programming language like inheritance, polymorphism or encapsulation within a C language. We cannot implement that object oriented features in a C language. You have to write a procedure oriented. What is meant by procedure oriented? Where simple statements and functions are included there. Some procedures are written there, some functions are written there. Such languages are considered as a procedure oriented language. And the languages that will apply or that will accept the features of a object oriented programming language like inheritance, polymorphism and encapsulation. Such languages are considered as object oriented programming language. So we have seen that object oriented programming languages like C++ and Java will be there. So C++ is there where we can implement the features of object oriented. Means we are creating the objects of classes. We are implementing the features like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. So all that features are included in a object oriented programming language. But in a Python, both the features of a procedure oriented along with object oriented programming languages are included. Means what? We can write the procedures, we can write the functions, we can write the inheritance, we can do the polymorphism, we can do the encapsulation. So object will be created there. Within object oriented, we have need to create the object of a classes. So both the features, procedure as well as object oriented, that will be included in our Python language. So this is the 8th feature, that is Python is a procedure oriented and object oriented programming language. Now the next feature is there. Python is the interpreted language. What is meant by interpretation? We have already seen that interpreter. Interpreter means execution of your program. So Python is the interpreted language. Interpreted means a program code that is called as a source code. When you write any program, that code is considered as a source code. Means that we are written the English sentences within our Python language. That sentences are considered as a source code. We are using some editors for that. How to edit that, where to return that, we have to see later. So when you write a program code, that is called as a source code. So after writing a Python program, we should compile the source code using Python compiler. This is the next step. So return a source code compilation by using a Python compiler. So Python compiler, what can do? Python compiler translates the Python program into an intermediate code called a bytecode. So this bytecode is executed by a Python virtual machine. So source code, compiled code, that is a bytecode will be there. That bytecode is needed to be converted into machine understandable language. That is a machine code will be there, and that task will be done by the interpreter. Where that interpreter is there, the interpreter is located within a Python virtual machine, and that machine code instructions that are executed by a CPU processor and then displayed on your monitor or the screen. So Python is the interpreted language. We have to interpret that by using a interpreter that will be available on a Python virtual machine. So this is the 9th feature, interpreted. Next is there, Python is the extensible language. Extensible means what? Extensible means we extend it. It can be extended with other languages. So programs or pieces of code written in a C or C++. Some code that will be useful of a C or C++ language within a Python. We can use that and execute by using a Python virtual machine. Means if you return some code in a C or C++, if it is useful in our Python program, you can extend that code in a Python program, and that code will be executed by a Python virtual machine. We have no need to use the Turbo C compiler there for execution or interpretation. So Python virtual machine will also execute that extensible code of other languages like C or C++. So this is called as a Python is a extensible language. So next feature is there, embeddable. What is meant by embeddable? Similar to that, we can insert Python program into another programming languages. We have seen that extensible from other language to Python program. We can extend the code. Embedded means what? Python code can be used within other languages. So we can insert Python programs into C or C++ programs. So several applications are now developed where the Python can be embedded. So that will be integrated into other programming languages like C, C++, PHP will be there, Java is there, .NET will be there. So applications that are currently developed or within a market that are by using a C, C++, Java, .NET will be there. But some of the code of the Python will be embedded within that software. Means what? Those things that you have imagined but that cannot be do within a C, C++, Java or .NET. But that can be do within a Python. So that task you have done within a Python can be embedded in other languages like C, C++, Java or .NET. So that will make a better features, or you can add a features within that software by using a Python language. So those things that you cannot develop within other language can be developed in a Python language and it will be embedded within that software or that language. So Python is an embeddable language. Now the next feature, that is Python contains huge library. What is meant by library? So every programming language has a library and you are developing that programs by considering that libraries. So we have seen that the C language is there. What is the library there? Some header files are there. Some header files that are stored in a library. Suppose for example you are using the mat.h header file. What is that header file? That header file is already stored in a C library. And when you want to use a mathematical calculations or when you write mathematical statements inside your C language, you can include that library within your program. So similar to that, Python also contains the huge library. So Python has a big library which can be used on any operating system. So programmers can develop programs very easily using the modules available in a Python library. So instead of using a header files in a Python, there will be a module. What is meant by module? That module contains some classes are there, functions are there that already written inside that module. Suppose for example you want to do the database connectivity of your application to another database software. For example, you have written your Python program and you want to store that data from your program to Oracle. We are also familiar with the Oracle database. Now your application will be written in a Python language and your data will be stored in a Oracle. That is a database software. So you may have need to connect your Python application with a database software. So there will be the use of a library or the module will be used there. Number of types of modules are there. SQL module is there. That SQL module will be used for connecting your Python application to a database application. That is Oracle. So such type of libraries are used there. Means what type of programming you are doing within a Python, you can use that library. Suppose you want to design a graphical user interface, GUI application if you want to design. So what will be used there? You are using a library that is a module. So tkinter module will be used there. So tkinter module that will be used for designing a graphical user interface. So such kind of modules are used there for doing a specific type of programming. So Python contains the huge library and that library will be helpful for us for writing different types of programming, such as database applications are there, some network applications are there, some simple applications are there, some array based applications are there. Such type of applications we are developed by using that library. So huge library that will be included in a Python, and when it will be needed, if your application, when you install a Python, some libraries are not there, you may have need to install it externally. So it will also open source and you can easily download from any website. Another thing is that Python is a scripting language. So most of the languages that we have seen, either it is a scripting language. So what are the advantage of that scripting language? So scripting means what? Scripting language is a programming language that does not use a compiler for executing a source code. Rather, it uses an interpreter to translate the source code into machine code. So there will be the no use of a compiler. You can translate your source code into machine code. So interpreter itself works as a compiler. So scripting language, we have seen other scripting languages, some within a market are there. PHP is there. So PHP is the better example of a scripting language where we are written the scripts are there. Or Linux will be there. We are written scripts are there. Python is a scripting language. Next feature is that database connectivity. Means what? If you develop your Python application and we have accepted some entries within that application. You have developed one, suppose for example you have developed a graphical user interface application for employee registration. So within that employee registration form, different entries are there, such as employee ID is there, employee name is there, employee address is there, email address is there, designation is there, date of joining is there, date of retirement is there. So all that entries of a employee registration form, when you fill up it is needed to submit to the database. So any database will be there. Either you can use the Oracle database will be there, MySQL database will be there, Microsoft SQL Server will be there, Sybase will be there, IBM DB2 will be there. So any type of a database software, you can make a connectivity to that by the use of our Python application. So for that we are using the different modules are there for connecting to the specific database. So Python is a database connectivity that will support for many type of databases like Sybase, Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, any type of database where it will be supported. Now the next feature, Python is a scalable language. So what is meant by scalable? A program would be scalable if it would be moved from one operating system or hardware and take full advantage of a new environment. Scalable means what? It will take a full advantage of the environment. Means there will be no effect on porting from one computer system to another computer system. If you developed a Python program on one computer system and if you want to port it from another computer or another operating system, where it may be a hardware changes are there, but there will be no effect on to the changing environment on a Python application or a Python program. So Python is considered as a scalable language. And the last point, batteries included. What is meant by batteries included? So Python contains a huge library, and all that library modules are not included in a Python when you install it. You may have to externally install it. Suppose for example I am giving you are using a smartphone, and the most of the problem that will be faced for every smartphone, that is of a battery. You have to charge it for within a day for 1 time, 2 time, 3 times. Somebody are charging for 5 times, 6 times, or somebody has been connecting always to the power point. So battery problem that will be faced for every smartphone. So to solve that problem without changing the battery, how you can solve it? You can use a backup. So same thing that will be applied within a Python. If you want to add some extra features within our applications, if you want to, you have need some extra libraries are there. Suppose you want to visualize your data from your Python application in the form of a bar charts are there, in a pie charts are there. So you want to visualize the data within that format. Instead of displaying within a tabular format, you want to view or visualize your data in a graphical objects like bar charts, pie charts are there. So another module is needed to be installed in your Python application. So which are that module? Pandas module is there. So that pandas module, that will be used for a data visualization or for generating the reports. So MATLAB module is there, also there, that is also used within a Python for data visualizations. So that things are there. So Python contains a huge library and we may include that as a batteries. If you want a specific type of programming, you can externally install or install that module within our Python software. So batteries are included. So all that are considered as the features or characteristics of Python. So Python is a simple language, easy to learn, open source, high level language, dynamically typed, means we have no need to declare the data types are there. It will automatically consider the type of a variable. Python is a platform independent, it is a portable, it is a procedure and object oriented. So both combine the feature of a procedure oriented and object oriented within a Python. So Python is a procedure oriented and object oriented. We have also seen that Python is an interpreted language. It is extensible. You can add a code of other languages within a Python, that is extensible. Embeddable, you can use a Python code within other languages, that is embeddable. Python contains a huge library. Depends upon the library, we can develop a more powerful applications within a Python. Python is a scripting language, that is we can write the script like other languages like PHP. So Python also used for database connectivity. You can connect your Python application to any type of a database. Scalability will be there, means what? It will does not change its features within a new environment. When you port from one computer system to another computer system, there will be no effect on the hardware changes or the platform changes. So within a full feature it will be work. And batteries included means we can add some extra libraries whenever it will be needed. You can install that within your Python applications. So these are the features or characteristics of the Python. But before that, writing a Python program, we have to see the installation and working with Python. So you can install a Python on any operating system, such as Windows will be there, Mac OS, Linux, Unix, or any other systems or operating systems are there where we can use a Python. So to install the Python program, Python application on your operating system, you have seen that link. You can easily available a Python in a www.python.org website. You will see a screen like that. Within a browser, we can write it www.python.org. Python.org. This is a open source software, that is Python is open source and you can easily download from python.org website, where you have to get, but this is our website. Within a download tab, where you can see download for Windows. The latest version you have to get here, Python 3.8.3. Python 3.8.3. So this is the latest version, that is open source. You have no need to pay for it. You can just click on it and download the software. So you can download that software from python.org website. It will be easily available. It is near about 25.5 MB. So it is also less in size. So you can download that software from python.org website. Okay, it will be downloaded. Now we have to see how to install it. So it will be downloaded within your downloads. Double click on that. Install Python. You may have to see install Python 3.8.3. This is 32-bit application. depending upon the type of operating system you are using. So if you considered your Python operating system is Windows 7, you may have to see either it is a 32-bit or 64-bit. If it is a 32-bit, you can install it. If you don't want to use it, if your operating system is a 64-bit, you can see all releases for Windows are there. By clicking on the Windows, where you can see a Python 3.7.8, where Windows x86 64 that will be there. x86 executable installer, x86 and 64-bit. x86 it means it is a 32-bit, and 64 that will be considered as a 64-bit. x86 64-bit that will be, you can download it from here, Windows x86 executable installer. So you get a executable exe of your Python software. Now we have downloaded that. The steps for installation are there. Here you can click add path 3.8 to path. So here you can click a checkbox add Python 3.8 to path. Customize your installation. Click on the next. Then click on install for all users. Where it will be installed? It will be installed within a directory c:/python program files x86, means it is a 32-bit Python 3832. By clicking on the install button, you may have to access the permissions from our Windows. Then setup progress will be shown here. So installation of the Python will be in a progress. So what you are installing? Python 3.8.3 TCL/TK. That is our TK enter module that will be used for GUI programming. That will also include within a Python software. This is a module. Then Python 3.8 PIP bootstrap you will be there. PIP, that is if you want to externally add some modules, that PIP bootstrap will be used. It is also a 32-bit. So all that component that are needed for development of your Python programs, that will be installed by using this setup. So it will take some time for the installation. So during the installation, it will create an environment for within our operating system. So when you install a Python software on your machine will be able to execute a Python program. Means during the installation, it will install a Python virtual machine, and that Python virtual machine, this is a virtual machine, and by using that virtual machine, you can execute or interpret your Python programs. Also, there will be the installation of pre-compiling standard libraries are there. Before execution of the Python programs, we may have to compile it, and that is pre-compile standard library that will check there are some errors that we have written within a program or not. So program during the compilation or debugging, error finding will be there, and some standard library will be there that will be considered for finding of the errors or bugs within your programs. So that will also installed during the installation of Python setup or the Python software. So we have installed your Python program on your machine. Now we have to see where it will be installed. It will be installed within our directory where you have selected the path. So here I have already installed a Python 37. That is a Python 3.7 that will be currently installed in our machine. So what are the directories are there? DDL directories are, document is there, include is there, library is there. What is that library? So what is that library? That Python contains a huge library we have seen there. we have seen there Python contains huge library like collections, concurrent, C types, courses, DBM, email, HTML, HTTP, all that there. We have seen some examples like the TK inter module that will be used for a GUI programming. XML is there to embed your Python code within XML. XML libraries are there. So number of libraries are there. JSON is there. Then import lib will be there. You can you can develop web applications are there. HTTP libraries are there. HTML libraries are there. For sending mails are there. Email libraries are there. So all that libraries that will be included in our Python software, and those that are not included we may externally include or install it. So lib is there, libs are there, scripts are there. So already written some scripts are there, pip, easy install, all that things are there. Then tools are there, some parsers, scripts, demos are there. So all that things that we have seen here within your installation direct. So after installation, what you can start for developing a Python programs. So next step is there, writing our first Python programs. So we want to write our first Python programs and execute it. So this will help us to test whether our installation is correct or not. So after installation, you may check that you have installed correctly or not by compiling and executing of your Python program. So you can write the first Python program to add two numbers. Let us see our program. Here we have declared a equal to 10. This is our first statement within our program. What is that hash? So this is a complete program there. Within a comment, for commenting you may use a hash. Hash will be used. So first program to add two numbers. This is the title given for that program, and this is a commented section. You may use a hash for comment this line, so it will not be executed. The next statement, a equal to 10 will be there, b equal to 20 will be there, c equal to a plus b. We have written three assignment statements are there, a, b and c. What is that first assignment statement? A equal to 10. What is that? A is a variable, equal to is an operator, that is the assignment operator, and 10 is a value of type as an integer. 10 is a value of type as integer. So Python, we have seen the feature of Python. Python is a dynamically typed. Means what? The value 10 is of type of integer, so variable a is automatically becomes an integer type. So here we have no need to write the int. Here we have no need to write the int. So a equal to 10, it means a is a type of integer. Similarly, we have declared another variable b is there, b equal to 20. So 20 is also a type of integer, so b will automatically become an integer. Also we have no need to write the int. Another c will be there, c equal to a plus b, where we make the addition of that two numbers, that is a plus b. A plus b. So we can do there. A equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to a plus b there. So we make the addition of a and b here, and by assignment statement c, the type c will becomes an integer. How it becomes an integer? A is integer, b is integer. The addition of that a and b will be an integer. So c will be an integer type variable and store the value 30 as a type of integer. The last statement, that is a print. So print is a function here. Print is a built-in function here. Here within a double quote, sum equal to double quote complete. So within a double quote we have written the display statement is there, sum equal to, and the value of the c will be there. So you get the output sum equal to c. Now we have to see how to write your first Python program. So executing Python programs using command line window and ideal graphics window. So there will be the three ways of executing a Python program. Let us see using Python's command line window. This is first way. Using Python's ideal graphics window. This is second way, and third directly from system prompt. So these are the three ways of executing a Python program. Mostly we are using directly from system prompts, but we have to see all that three things how to execute Python programs first by using a command line. So the first two are called as interactive modes, where you can type one line at a time. You cannot go back there. Each time you have to write one line at a time there, and the compiler executes it immediately. If you return one line, if it is correct, compiler will execute it. If it is wrong, you cannot write there. From beginning you can write the same things at a correctly. So the third one is that is non-interactive modes, where we ask the compiler to execute our whole program. After typing the entire program, it will be passed to the compiler for its execution, and then compiler will find or debug the errors. If it is error free, it will send to the interpreter, and the interpreter will execute and display the output on your screen. So these are the three methods: using command line window, using Python's ideal graphics window, and directly from system prompt. So these are the three ways of executing a Python program. Now we have to see the first way. So using Python's command line window, so how it will be look? We have to see online. Before that we have to see where to click that. Python's command line window that will be shown on a taskbar, where a black icon along with Python logo will be there. That this is the Python's command line icon. Click on that. Click on the command line icon which is already added to our taskbar. So this will open Python's command line window. Type your first program as like that. Comment section will be there. First Python program to add two numbers. Next, if you press enter, a equal to 10, press enter, b equal to 20, press enter, c equal to a plus b, press enter, print sum equal to c, press enter, you get the output sum equal to 30. You get the output of the sum equal to 30. Then by using exit function, by using exit or quit function, you can quit that command line window. So let us see. So within a search cognito, or if you use Windows 7, click on start, then search a Python. So within a search, you have to see a Python 3.7 desktop app or 36. This is a black icon will be there. So click on that and pin to taskbar. Pin to taskbar will be there. It will be appeared here. Now click on that. It will open a command line window. You can change the properties of there. Edit properties are there. You may see some size of the font will not appear there. You can use it as a 20. So large font size will be there. Okay. Now we have to write our first Python program by using a command line window. So first you have to write the comment there, that is title of the program. First Python program to add two numbers. Click on enter. So it is a interactive programming. Each time you have to write the one line. Here we have to declare a variable a equal to 10. Click enter. We have no need to write int a equal to 10. So Python is a dynamically typed. The type of it will be automatically considered. So a becomes a type of integer. B equal to 20. Similarly, we have declared another variable of a type as integer, and we have assigned a value as 20. Let us declare a c variable c equal to an assignment that as a plus b. Click on enter. Next line will be appeared. That does not contain any errors. Now write the print function, print sum equal to, comma, display the value stored inside a variable C. Click on enter, you get the sum equal to 30. So this is the way of executing a Python program using a command line window. Now exit that screen by using exit function, or you may also use a quit function. So this is the way of executing a Python program using a command line window. Now we have to see the second type, using a Python's ideal graphics window. So here is the ideal icon. Python's ideal icon will be there. This is a white icon we have to see along with a Python logo. White icon we have seen along with a logo. So this is the Python's ideal icon. So it is possible to execute a Python program by going to integrated development environment, so which provides the graphical interface to the user. So we have seen that the Java will be there, where Eclipse are used. This is the integrated development environment where the graphical user interface has been provided for the user. So click on the ideal icon here. This will open the ideal window. Now type our first Python program by using ideal graphics window. So this is ideal graphics window. Now we have to see, click on the Python's ideal graphic window. It will be opened now. So this is our Python's ideal graphics window. So within options are there. Configure ideal is there. If you see some fonts are there, some font face, that is Courier New will be there. If the size of the font will not appear, you can increase that. Suppose there will be a 16, now I have applied it as a 80. Now it becomes large there. Now same as a command line, this is the ideal graphics window, but it will be provided within an integrated development environment. So user will easily interact with this. So write our first program. First we have to give the comment, that is title of our Python program. First Python program to add two numbers, for addition of two numbers. It will, after click on enter button, it will go to the next line. We declare two variables, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to a plus b, then print sum equal to c. Click enter, we get the output sum equal to 30. So this is the way of executing a Python program by using a ideal graphics window. This is a ideal graphics window. Third, running directly from a system prompt. So this is the third way of executing a Python program by using a system prompt, and it will be running directly from a system prompt. And we are also using that this way because it is better for us to write a program once, and after completion it will be compiled or executed. So we have to see the first thing. In most of the programming languages like Java, we are using a notepad, or Eclipse, or any editor will be used there, or .NET, we generally type the program in text editors. So which are that? Notepad will be there, Edit Plus will be there. So after typing the program, we save it and compile the program. So this can be done in a Python also. That is same thing we can do in a Python also. So let us see how steps to run the program directly from the system prompt. So first step is there, open a text editor and type the program as shown in a figure. Then save the program by clicking on the save option. As like a notepad, save as option will be there. You can save. Type the program name as, for example, sum.py. So what is that? .py is an extension. .py is an extension. So type the program name as within a double quote sum.py. Why there is need to give the double quote? If you not given the double quote, the sum.py will automatically save as a text file. But we need it as a Python file. So we may use a double quote for a program name sum dot extension as a py. So .py extension that will be used. See inside a figure, save as option will be there. Sum.py, save as a type Python file and save it. Then run to execute the Python program. Go to run. Run of within a run tab, run module is there, or either you can press F5. So after executing that, it will be executed. After executing that, you get an output window on your screen if your program is error, like that, sum equal to 30. Now let us see hands on how you can execute a Python program directly from a system prompt. So we have already opened a Python's ideal graphics window. So go to the file there, new file. So this is our system prompt. So where we can write our first Python program. Comment will be there. First Python program to add two numbers. This is the first statement that will beginning with hash. It means that you are writing the statement in a comment section, means that it will not be executed and it will be considered as a title of your Python program. Now let us write the programming statements. A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B, print sum equal to comma C, enter. Now the whole program we have written. Each time each statement will be written on a new line, but it is a non-interactive programming. Means once you have write the program, then next step is save that program by clicking on save or save as. If you written first time, click on save. A save as dialog will be appeared there. Create a own directory by clicking on new folder. Suppose my Python programs. This is the first directory we have created here. Within that directory you can store your Python programs. Now give the name as sum.py. So by using the extension .py, you can save your Python programs within a my Python programs directory. So this is our home directory where you can store your Python program. Click on the save button, program will be saved there. Now go to the run tab, click on a run module, or either you can press F5 to execute a Python program. So let us see, you get the output as a sum equal to 30. So this is the way of writing a Python programs and execute it directly by using a system prompt.